Welcome to Hello Main Street. I'm your host, Monica Sanchez. And here we talk about tips, tricks, thought provoking ideas for fellow entrepreneurs just like you. So today we are going to be diving into credit reporting. Why do we need to have credit reporting and what is good about it? Right? So let's dive into that. As I was doing some research, I was looking at some ways to raise your credit score. And that brought me back to how did I help my oldest daughter to get started? Well, when she turned 18, we had went ahead and I had heard from a friend of mine who was at a bank, was working at a bank, and she said, "Hey, you should really help your daughter by adding her to your credit card." And at first I was like, wait now, hold on. She's 18. She doesn't need my credit card. I think we're good there. She goes, no, no, no. Hear me out. She said, when you put somebody on your account on the credit, you don't have to give them a credit card per se. But what I'm doing is because I had established good credit throughout my time as being an adult and paying bills and buying homes and cars and so on and so forth. They said, now you can help them by having them on your account as considered like an authorized user, right? And so then that way they can start to establish themselves with good credit. So I went ahead and I dived in, added her to our credit card, just one. She didn't need a whole bunch. And then a few months later, she decided, I think when she was about 19 or so, she was going to buy her first car. So when she went to go look to buy her first car, of course, she needed a co-signer, right? So I knew that because she was still living at home, if she did not pay on time, I could still help her out. So we went ahead, we were co-signers for her first car. And when they had pulled her credit score, she was right on the cusp, being so close to being able just to buy it on her own. And so they said, once you're done doing this, then you should be just fine, as long as you keep paying your bills on time, right? So that's how we got her established. And so today I was like, let's share some more tips and tricks, ideas about this in credit scoring, how to increase it, because of course that's where everybody starts, right? Especially when you're going to have your own place or your apartment complex, they're always going to want to look at your reporting. So let's go ahead and dive in. And what I did want to show you was some things. So right here, what are the three credit reporting? TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So anytime that you make any big purchases, say that you had went to a place where you can buy some furniture and then you pay it off monthly, right? It's all going to go to these reporting here. So anything that you do that has to do with credit, it's all going to go to this. So even if you have just a simple store card like Macy's, JCPenney's, what have you, right? Every time you go somewhere, even Target, they're like, hey, you want to use one of our credit cards? It's all going to go to these credit reporting agencies of what you are doing on your transactions. So here is one of the first tips, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Pay your bills on time. Make sure that you can do that. Do you have enough savings set aside that if you lost your job tomorrow, would you be able to make those payments, right? And so that's something that you want to be able to do. So making payments, even if they're small payments, that's fine. But think about the smaller the payments over time and the interest rate that might impact how long you're going to be paying it for. So they don't tell you that when they give you the credit card that it could be 23 or 32% each month for you to have a balance on your account. So that is tip number one. Tip number two is to reduce your debt. Again, we're talking about credit cards. They're great when you need it. If you have an emergency or you have a small balance on it, that's fine. And just an example with my daughter, they wanted to give her double the amount of credit than she needed, right? So she could buy more of whatever it was. And you can always ask them, hey, I don't want to have a balance of 10,000 or 15,000. I just want a balance of 5,000, right? So just give me a limit for 5,000 so then I don't go over that amount and I can start building up in that way. And then always the best thing you can do is to pay off your high interest credit cards first. So if you have this lineup of bills and you're like, I'm not sure what to pay first, that's always a good starting point. And that doesn't mean you have to pay it off and then you close the account. No, you want to keep the account closed. You want to keep the account open. And you can have a few accounts. I have 3 accounts, I think, that I have open, and then I have a balance on one, and then I have the other 2 that are just sitting there. So the longer that I can show that I have credit and I haven't used it, it's going to be more to my benefit, if you can believe that. So the other thing is, say you do get in a sticky situation, right? Contact the creditor. They would much rather talk to you and say, hey, we're willing to go ahead and extend this out for a period of time and you can make these increment payments to us. They would much rather talk to you than you ghost them and you don't make any payments at all, right? Then they're going to collectors start contacting you, calling you, and then you're on their bad side versus being on their good side. Now, I've had to do this before. When I taken my daughter, we had a high hospital bill. And I was like, there's no way I can pay X number all in full, all at once. So I contacted the hospital and I said, hey, I have this bill. I need to make monthly payments because it's not in the budget to pay that full amount. And they were more than willing to say, okay, can you afford to make a $50 payment? And I said, no, I can afford to make a $25 payment. And they were like, that's fine. We'll go ahead and we'll accept that as long as you continue to pay your bill on time. So it doesn't hurt to ask. The worst thing they can say is no, but more than likely they'd rather have some money than no money, right? Because then they have to start paying somebody to come and start collecting on their behalf, and they don't want to do that. The other thing is check your credit reporting. This is a great way. This is something that I did way back when, and I'm going to show you something right now, but I thought this is a great way for you to find out what is my baseline. And I know talking about finances and all of that, again, it's like a diet, right? You don't want to know where you're at. You don't want to step on the scale and then everybody knows where you're at. But if you don't know where you're at, you don't know where you can go, right? So we need a baseline. So getting your credit report is fine. And that you're not going to get, you can even do something that is free and you're not going to get charged and it won't negatively impact you. So I'm going to show you something really quickly here and we're going to jump on to this screen. Again, I was doing research, right? And I'm like, hey, I didn't know that Chase will help you with a free plan to improve your credit score, So this is just one of, I'm sure, many. But I just thought I'd show this to you quickly. So it's very easy. You can go on free plan, and then you can look at your credit score. It has you where you can choose the time frame, get your score, and get a personalized plan of action by Experian, right? That was one of the 3 creditors. So I was like, that is pretty cool. They didn't have that when I did it. So they are making it so easy to do it these days. And then you can just go ahead and get started from there. And it even shows, it says it'll track your progress. So then you can watch it, right? So, and sure, there have ways where you get little stickers or stars or something to like, good job, you made that payment and it boosted you up another 10 points, that's always fun to watch. And then you start like, how can I do better? How can I improve that score? So that is a great way to do it. And then they just show you different free versions. And then that way you can get ready to, if you needed to, right, to be able to buy a car or a home or apply for a loan. Maybe that would help you also for student loans. So I thought that is pretty nifty. So that is what I wanted to show you here. Something very simple, easy to do. All right. And then I have another tip, which is to become the authorized user on a credit card, right? Now, I feel like this is a great start, especially for children who have parents, guardians who do have good credit. You want to make sure somebody has good credit. You don't want to be attached to somebody who doesn't have good credit, right? So if you can do this, and you don't have to give them the credit card, but then they get to glean off of your good habits. That's a wonderful way and a wonderful gift to give a teenager to get them started on the right track. So I hope that that was helpful for you. Again, we are going to be having in the month of July in Spanish, we're going to have in-person classes for these one-on-one coaching, and then other tips and tricks for you along the way. It will be a 5-part series. And then we're also going to be doing one online as well in July. So I will give you the dates and everything and share that next time. But this is just something for you to think about. Again, the more that we can help each other, the better off everyone's going to be, especially as you become an entrepreneur. You want to have good finances because that's going to bleed over into your business. And then, of course, businesses, you're going to need loans and credits and all of that. So it's a great way to get started before you become an entrepreneur. And if you want to know more about the financial coaching classes or career classes, this is my phone number right down below. Okay, so feel free to text me or call me. All right. And then again, as always, if you like this, please share it, like it, help somebody else out. You may not need it, but they may really appreciate that, right? And so you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to learn more about you. How can I help you? I'm here to be of service, and I appreciate you. So that is a simple way to do it. And as always, I like to keep these short. So we are always better together. Thank you, my friend.